As customers respect and knowledge.
Staying on the tech theme, the S&P 500 Technology Index is down about 7.5% year to date. There are still ways to make money in technology, some of the smartest long and short ideas in the sector. We bring in now Jeff Embersits, Chief Investment Officer at Shareholder Value Management, along with Fort Pitt Capital's Kim Coffey. Good to have you on the program. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Good afternoon.
Let's go through sort of the broad sector here and try to figure out exactly what's happening. Google shares seem to have come back from that big sell-off we saw about 6 months ago or so. But Kim, what's your view on technology in general?
Well, we look more at the business side rather than, the advertising platform that Google has. But anyhow, we're keenly looking at employment. In the short term, we think that, the more bodies there are in buildings employed, the better off that is for technology companies because they have to sell you PCs and software and services. But we're cautious on the short term, but very bullish on the long term.
When you say cautious on the short term, in terms of the stock price performance?
Well, yes, and that's driven by the demand for the products in the next year or so.
Jeff, how do you see it?
I'm still very conservative on technology. It really started last September, October, when it recommended either being short or in cash. And I think there's been a real bifurcation also along cap size. I know on CNBC you talk a lot about the Google, the Research Emotions, and Apple's, and things holding up okay or getting better, but there really are a lot of companies that have been through significant pain, and I haven't seen the bottom yet.
So going into the next couple of quarters where, of course, seasonally speaking, toward the end of the year when we see corporations put their budgets together for the next year, what do you see in terms of business?
I still think it's going to be slow. I think everything is still leaning towards conservatism on companies as they put together their budgets. Obviously, the consumer is still very weak, the market's weak, and I just don't see that as a huge opportunity yet for technology. I think if you pick individual names and it really is a stock picker's market, you can do very well, but overall I'm still probably looking at more shorts than long ideas. So
stock picker's market and a sector picker's market as well, I guess. Kim, you say the software makers are better positioned. Tell me why.
Well, from the last time we've had a tech downturn to now, the software companies have changed their licensing model. Now the larger companies have companies pay on an annual basis as opposed to an upfront charge, so they don't have to go out and make those multi-million-dollar deals. That has evened out their revenue streams, so we think the downside's rather limited for a lot of the software group.
Do you have a group that is looking like the big laggard here? What do you want to short, Kim?
What do I want to short?
Yeah.
Well, I'd say more in the consumer area. The Apples of the world that have traded, to really have done really, really well. And I'm not sure the consumer's going to hold up. Nothing that I can see out there really is, at right now, the valuation to short for the business sector of IT.
Jeff, how do you see it in terms of the negative side of it?
I think if you're going to look at a sector, one that's been very weak has been the computers and peripherals. Really, the only star in that area has been Hewlett-Packard. But if you look across the board, Dell, Lexmark, Kodak have all had weaker earnings. I don't see any great turnaround there in the near future.
And as far as, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, please.
And as far as sort of the broad themes, do you both agree that the broad theme within technology today is mobility? A lot of people talk about the PC
Absolutely.
business and, tied to the consumer, but it really is all about mobility and how we see these devices change, right, in order to accommodate all sorts of data and entertainment.
Absolutely. I think mobility is the plastics. If you're going to redo The Graduate today,
right.
It would be mobility. Go into mobility.
You agree with that, Jeff?
Yeah, I agree totally. It's one of the reasons you've seen a big shift from desktop computers to laptops, and that's created a certain imbalance in the PC industry for the different makers who are competitively advantaged in different ways.
All right, we'll leave it there. Kim, I like that analogy.
Thank
Plastics. You. Thanks so much for joining us, both of you. Have a nice weekend. Dylan, over to you.
All right, up next, the Fast Money.